imagine what it would be like to lie under tons of concrete, slowly suffocating to death, with my sons and daughters, my husband and the people I love, praying for mercy, waiting on the next missile to kill us all.
I cannot imagine the pain and the suffering that the young data engineer, Shaban Al-Dula, went through when Israel bombed the tents outside Alaska Hospital. He died, he burned alive with the IV drip still in his arm. I cannot imagine the horror of such a death.
I cannot imagine what it was like for 6-year-old Hind Rajab in her final moments, trapped in a car, alone, before being murdered by the Israeli army.
I cannot imagine what it would be like as a parent in Gaza to lose a child in the most horrific of circumstances.
I cannot imagine what it would feel like to be standing on a building, looking down on the bombed-out building next to me and watching my father burn alive. I cannot imagine the horror.
For centuries now, the Irish have understood the fight for freedom and self-determination. Today, that spirit of solidarity runs deep with the Palestinian cause, a cause that's rooted in dignity, in justice, and human rights. We're here in Ireland to explore the people's unwavering support for Palestine and look at the historical ties of shared oppression and today's advocacy, a connection that runs deep.
Palestine will never die! Live forever! Free! Palestine! Palestine will never die! Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine!
Central Dublin is buzzing with energy as crowds have gathered for the IPSC rally, the Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign. The sun is out in full force on this beautiful October day, and Dubliners are continuing to show their support for the Palestinian cause. They're calling for justice. They're calling for freedom. They're calling for human rights. But the major theme of today's rally is to protest against Israel's ongoing and relentless bombing of northern Gaza. So, Betty, tell me a little bit about this rally.
So this is an emergency rally that we just called on Thursday evening because of what's happening in North Gaza at the moment. But people feel very strongly here in Ireland, probably because of our own colonial past with Britain. We know what land grab is, and we know what eviction is.
But what exactly are you calling on and what for?
Well, in Ireland, what we're looking for is sanctions against Israel.
As a person who feels very passionate about this cause, how does it feel that what you do actually does make a difference?
Well, you have to hope that it will make a difference. And in Ireland, we have a real chance of making a difference because there are so many of us. So the government and all of the politicians are pretty fearful of the Palestinian lobby. They know that they have to listen to us. They know that they have to implement what we're asking for.
What do you think is one of the major underlying causes that both the leadership and the opposition actually feel that they can support this cause?
I think that the government has always been fearful of offending the United States, who is the big power broker in this whole issue. Also of offending the leadership of the EU in the past. For instance, we went on a solo run on South African apartheid, and we passed a bill then, and we were the first Western government to do so. I was in South Africa too, and I saw the way apartheid works. separate roads, separate hospitals, separate right to everything.
If you were to describe what Israel is doing in Gaza, in southern Lebanon, with one word, what would it be?
Genocide has to be the word. They are amplifying their attacks. They are doing it through air bombing of families, of children, of women. This is a systematic genocide, and there's no other word for it.
Whose skies? Our skies! No planes for genocide! Whose skies? Our skies! No planes for genocide! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
For this group, boycotting is almost a full-time job. Nearly every day of the week, members of the BDS Belfast Market Boycotts movement carry out organized street actions and protests. Their activists enter retail establishments and encourage consumers not to purchase Israeli products and call on stores not to stock these items on their shelves.
Intifada! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine!
We're heading to shops that are selling goods which fund the Israeli war machine, killing Palestinians.
Nonetheless, we will go wherever it is need. It needs to be to remove these products and prevent the funding of genocide. That's how we...
Using our pounds, buying their products, which is funding this war, we intend to inform them and stop them.
Look, we're ordinary people, just ordinary people. I'm a rehab assistant. Sheila in the back there is retired present, but we have teachers, we have cleaners, we have chefs, we have construction workers. We're the grassroots activist group.
We are here on behalf of the people of Palestine and Lebanon. We are here on behalf of 2 million people who have no homes.
Bombs being dropped on buildings of displaced Palestinian people. People dying of starvation. It's an absolute disgrace and horror.
We are here on behalf of the 20,000 children killed. We are here on behalf of the living, and we are here on behalf of the dead. There has been a genocide, a Nakba, a Holocaust in Gaza.
It's under attack. What do we do? Boycott Israel!
A most terrible massacre that we are watching on television.
It's being live streamed, so go on social media and see what we're talking about. Follow TRT News.
Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel!
There is something you can do. You can boycott everything that comes from Israel.
Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel!
We will keep on doing it, and we will stand with the people of Palestine.
We will give you advice. We will give you support. We will tell you the steps that you can take to not have to stock Israeli products on the shelves.
Save the children of Palestine. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
When you have nearly 20,000 children killed, without a doubt, it's their mothers that weep the most. Mothers Against Genocide Dublin is a grassroots activist group focused on raising awareness and advocating against genocides and atrocities. When compared to the various number of organizations that support the Palestinian causes, that you were formed right after the initial attack or Israel's war on Gaza.
Basically, it was originally formed up in the north by a very small group of women, mainly mothers, who came together and just were horrified by what was being live streamed. And then it kind of became, we now have hundreds of members, but we also have like a huge media. I think we had, our last count, 77,000 people following us from around the world. And then our media reach is now like 13 million.
You're not only trying to give support who are victims of genocidal violence, but also put pressure on political leaders and sort of influence public opinion.
Well, the great thing about Mothers Against Genocide is we're completely non-politically affiliated, so we're not politically affiliated to any parties. We have a lobbying subgroup within our organisation, which are lobbying on various issues around, in Ireland, around the Occupied Territories Bill, around our arms embargo bill, and highlighting the inaction. And we want Israel to be sanctioned, and we want these like the arms embargo bill and the occupied territory bills that actually is meaningful action, not just words, enacted for actual change.
Pretty soon you light up hundreds of lights here.
Yeah.
More than 1,700 of them, each representing some of the children that have been killed.
Yeah.
What do you want to bring awareness to?
What Israel is committing is values that we hold, you know, society as a whole value. You know, innocent children being murdered, innocent people, unarmed civilians being murdered. And it's about the mothers, it's about the children, and it's about just appealing to people's sense of humanity as a whole. And one of our goals is to basically just highlight that these were real people, real faces. They were loved, they had hopes and dreams just as much as our own children have, and that they've been robbed of their futures. And to highlight that basically, you know, these children aren't just numbers, there's so much more.
If you were to sort of describe in one word, I think it's going to be easy, but what Israel is doing in Gaza right now, what would it be?
It's hard to pick just one word, but ethnic cleansing. You know, there's no other word for what's happening, and evil, yeah.
So, Liam, you have been quite vocal about the situation in Gaza for many years now. What do you think is different about this current onslaught?
It's gone now to what many people consider to be a genocide. That's how it's accelerated, and it's gone from obscene to completely disastrous. Northern Gaza at the moment, in Gaza City, it's gone beyond the inhumane.
So mowing the lawn, another term that you use is, this is a televised genocide.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Explain that to me.
Well, there's a phrase that I read quite recently. It says that if you ever wondered what you would have done during the Holocaust, you're doing it now. We're watching a televised genocide. And the great worry is, this is not about Palestinians and Israelis. This is the state of humanity. This is about the future of, as far as I'm concerned, it's the future of civilization. And civilization is...
Want to take a seat?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you consider that this is the last settler colonial escapade on the planet, and with that you've got a messianic end of the world, some would put it, and at the same time it's a land grab. It's immoral what's going on. It's murderous. It's genocidal.
I hear the passion in your voice,
On top of that, I'm Irish. We've had a 700-year occupation. And we had a rebellion every generation. So we understand, recognize, empathize, and sympathize with the plight of the Palestinian people. It would be obscene for us not to have any other opinion about what's going on there.
How would Davos Seaworth react to this? What would he do?
Whatever I brought to Davos Seaworth was maybe a little bit of myself, but one of the reasons I want to do that particular part is he was, some described him as a moral compass of the show. That he had a bit of decency, and the character had more nobility than most of the people who were wearing crowns or suits of armor or whatever. And it's the same in the Muslim world, the Christian world, or the Jewish world, is that you do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. This is simple, basic morality.
Talk to me about the consequences of remaining silent, because you have criticized those who do remain silent in this.
100%. There's been many, and I continue to use the phrase that silence is complicity. If you are not complaining about this behavior, you're giving tacit approval to it. You have, I don't care if you're on social media, whether you have 2 followers or 20 million followers, you have to let people know that this is appalling. You can't turn your back on it.
If you were to describe Israel's actions in the occupied territories, in Gaza, what would it be?
The list is pretty much obvious. Apartheid, genocide, obscenity, crimes against humanity. These are not crimes against Palestinians. They are crimes against the human race been perpetrated by a settler colonial fascist regime.
Football connects us. Football unites, educates, frustrates us. Football excites. Football has the power to take us away from the troubles in our day. That's why we play. And for a few minutes, we're a child again. Not a care in the world, free to run wild again, to have fun, smile again, spend a while again and again and again in the company of a ball. Girl, boy, old, young, no matter the tongue, football is a friend to all. So I've just come back from the stadium, and one of the things that actually strikes everybody is the ubiquitous colors of the Palestinian flag. Tell me about this connection with the club.
Well, that in Ireland there's just 2 in the Premier Division that aren't owned by somebody. And I suppose what that means and the reason that the Palestinian colours are there is that the club, one of them is Palestine.
And the away jersey was a huge success. I think it sold out quite quickly.
Yeah, it was in February 2023 we released the shirt, and we worked with a charity in Tulkarem refugee camp called Sport for Life Palestine, and it raises money so that young kids in the West Bank can play football, young boys and girls.
But you also brought the Palestinian women's team out here for a special match earlier on in the year.
Well, the Palestinian team, Palestinian national team has never played in Europe, which is unbelievable. So they came to play our women's team in the stadium. The stadium sold out. The game was a very special event, you know, but the stories of the players, the women who play on that team, you know, were horrific.
And you actually documented this in the piece, did you know?
They were here for 5 days, so they had a whole program of events to meet people, and everybody wanted to convey. I think that the president wanted them to visit him. Just 2 weeks later, the state Ireland, recognised Palestine. So it was a very important time.
What do you think it means in terms of sending a message, in terms of the things that you stand for, especially when it comes to the Palestinian cause, to other football clubs, to the sporting community in general?
Sport has a really important role to play, both in showing solidarity and in highlighting injustice, because it's viewed by everybody, and often I suppose you might get young people who maybe don't engage in human rights, in a strict sense, whether that's through media or whether that's through politics, but sport can allow them to voice, their opinions in a positive way. But we were still able to do something that was really powerful. beyond the scoreline or anything else.
That's an amazing feat. If you were to sort of describe, perhaps in one word, what you feel is going on there right now, how would you describe it?
I think that, like everyone says, genocide, it is a genocide. It's very hard in one word. Like, it shows the total hypocrisy of Western governments, the total hypocrisy of international order.
I think in terms of the beautiful game, I think you're doing a beautiful thing, so good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Bohemians may have been the first football club to express their strong solidarity for the Palestinian cause, but it isn't the only one. There's also another club that shares the same affinity, and it's also thousands of kilometers away from the occupied territories. And for that, we're heading to Scotland. Glasgow, Scotland, home to Celtic Football Club and its passionate ultra fan group, the Green Brigade. The group operates with a tightly knit, almost underground structure, fiercely protecting its members. This is perhaps why the group has become a lightning rod for controversy. Over the years, their displays and chants have led to multiple fines from both UEFA and FIFA, fueling debates about free speech in football. As we meet with their spokesperson, I want to explore what drives their defiance and the price they've paid for making their voices heard. There's a special supporter group inside that we're actually here to follow. Why do you think they grab attention so much?
That's the nature of being an ultra, is to create atmosphere. I would say the ultras group here, the Green Brigade, are pretty much in line with the history and ethos of the club.
But there is a cause that they're very vocal about, and that's what's happening in Gaza right now, the pro-Palestinian cause.
Celtic is a club which was formed to feed the Irish in Scotland, the Irish who came here because they were starved out of Ireland. So we have in our approach to the world an affinity with other groups who are also being oppressed. So that's what Celtic is, and that's who the Celtic support are, and we've traditionally always had that as part of our approach and our ethos and our politics. No? And it feels as though they might have no understanding of what we're doing, but they do know, and they can see it through football. But I think because you can't do everything, you shouldn't just do nothing.
If you were to describe in a word what you feel is going on there, Israel's war on Gaza, how would you describe it?
Genocide. It's an absolutely hugely internationally criminal act, and they're being allowed to do it. Anybody who pretends it's anything different is essentially a Holocaust denier.
Inside the electric atmosphere of Celtic Park, and it's not just the game that is everyone talking tonight. Celtic's fan group, the Green Brigade, are known for their passionate support, and they've been using that energy to show solidarity with Palestine. This is more than football for the Green Brigade. It's about standing up for the causes they believe in, and their powerful message is resonating both here in Glasgow and beyond. And their voice is part of what makes Celtic Park one of the most unique football grounds in the world.